professional speaker and South Africa's first certified world-class speaking coach. How's that for an introduction? And here I am on the same platform. So are you. Aletta Rochat, she teaches clients how to breathe life into their speeches. We're in the right place. Aletta is an author of Speak, Connect, Succeed, Build Your Reputation as You Speak. She's also a distinguished Toastmaster and serves as a director on the board of Toastmasters International. We are extremely thrilled to have her. Together with June Keriri, who is the chat master, whom you shall submit all your questions and responses, Aletta, the floor, the platform, the space is yours. Welcome, Karibu to East Africa.
Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be with you today. If COVID-19 hadn't come to disrupt our lives, I would have been there in person. And of course, we all know that wasn't an option, but I'm delighted to be able to join you virtually, all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. And I'm so thrilled to be part of your event. You and I, living in the continent of Africa, know that we know how to give each other a warm welcome, and a welcome that comes from the heart. And everybody I've interacted with who's been planning this event today has been superb. Your attention to detail is just so inspirational. So to Dee, Harry, and to all the other district leaders, the past leaders, the current team, the contestants, the members, I'm so thrilled to be spending time with you today. I love your conference theme, Leave Nothing on the Table. And today I've been invited to share with you my thoughts around creating a peak experience at every meeting. When I first went to my very first Toastmasters meeting, I had no idea what to expect. And if I can make a confession, I wasn't going to become a better speaker or leader. I actually was running away from my kids. I wanted a hobby or something that had nothing to do with being a mother or a wife. And I, for some reason, had heard about Toastmasters, but I'd never even met a Toastmaster. So off I went to my first meeting. And if I look back, I can't say that they gave me a polite welcome. I registered at the table, I paid my fee for the meeting, and then I stood there by myself. And nobody really came to greet me. And if I had been someone who was perhaps more shy, maybe I would have left, but I didn't. And I went into that meeting and immediately I knew I wanted to join, because the value that I saw at that meeting was so compelling, I couldn't resist. The speakers, they weren't all professional speakers, but they had a high standard of speaking. The evaluations were impressive. I immediately knew that I wanted to learn to be as articulate as those people, as persuasive. I loved the way they could make me laugh. I knew straight away that I was going to join. That was a peak experience. Had I perhaps gone to another club that meets at exactly the same venue, just on a different day of the month, I'm not sure I would have joined, because that didn't give me the same kind of level of professionalism that I was looking for. I'm sure that you, like me, are busy and you work hard for your money. Anytime I exchange my time and money for something else, I expect excellent customer service. I expect that when I go and shop, whether it's for food or clothing or whether I go to a restaurant, I expect a high level of attentiveness and a high level of service. I want people to make me feel welcome. I want people to attend to my needs. A Toastmasters Club is no different. Think about it. We've got so much choice of what we could be doing, even today in our little virtual world. We're each coming from our own homes, but I bet each one of us could be doing 10 different things. We have to choose to be here. So you need to make your guests and your members feel so glad that they left home if they were meeting in person, or so glad that they gave you some of their precious time, which they can never get back, to attend your meeting. So my next question for you is, whose job is it to make it a peak experience at every meeting? Is it the president, the club exco? I would like to suggest that it is each member's role to make it a peak experience. It's not just your exco. Sure, they have some extra duties, but each one of us has a duty to make our guests feel welcome, to make our members feel welcome. When my club meets in person, I make it an absolute mission of mine to personally greet every member and every guest before the meeting starts. I'm not a club officer, but I feel that that welcome is important and it makes a difference. So I invite you to do the same. In a virtual meeting, how do you do that? Your chat feature. Hi, good to see you. What made you come? Why are you here? Those are all ways we can welcome someone virtually. And don't neglect your members because you're fussing over the guests. The members also deserve a welcome. One of the things that you can do before your meeting even starts is to have a website that makes them think that you are worth visiting. I invite you to Google Two Oceans Toastmasters Club. They're based in Cape Town and they have a website. And what I love about their website, if you scroll just a little bit down the page, they have a video and it's a compilation of a bunch of photographs set to music. But that video makes me want to be a part of that club before I've even set foot there, because it shows them having fun. It shows them supporting one another. It shows them succeeding. And it just gives you such a lovely, warm feeling that I think, gosh, that would be a good investment of time to be with a bunch of people who are that enthusiastic about spending time together. So make sure your website is inviting, not just giving them information. It's got to give them more than that. Make sure that all your communications with your guests before they arrive tune into not only where and when and how to log into the meeting or to be there in person, but find out why they're there. And then you can match them and introduce them to someone who might have a similar expertise or similar thing that they're looking for from Toastmasters. It's that personal experience. It's like a concierge experience that we're wanting to give, especially our guests, but our members as well. During the meeting, obviously, you need to make sure you're delivering value. That means it's well prepared. That means everybody who's on the agenda pitches up to speak and doesn't just wing it. We want to give of our best because that's how we grow. Remember that especially in a virtual meeting, it's so easy for people to leave. If they get bored or they don't think you're delivering value, they're out there before you even know it. So make sure that during the meeting, you are checking in with them every now and again to make sure that they're getting value, to make sure that their questions are being answered, to make sure that they are getting everything from that meeting that they need. Remember, it's not about us. It's about what they need to get from our meeting and how we can position our club and our Toastmasters offering as an answer to their needs. That's the whole ball game. If you can position yourself as being relevant to them, then they're more likely to stay. After the meeting, you need to follow up. So how are you going to do that? It all depends on how you share the link, especially to a virtual meeting. Do they need to register first? That would be my preferred option, because then at least you've got their contact details as part of the registration process. And follow up right away, the very next day. Don't let anyone feel that nobody noticed they were there. And that goes for your members as well. Do you notice if your members attend meetings? Do you notice if they don't attend meetings? That personal touch can make the world of difference. Toastmasters gives us an opportunity not only to learn and grow, but we get feedback, but we also have an incredible opportunity to validate other people. And it might sound strange, but some people get very little validation elsewhere in their life. They might come from a very stressful family background. They might have a boss from hell at work, and coming to Toastmasters and having someone recognize their worth and validate their efforts could be a game changer for them. So be generous with your feedback to people. Be generous with your validation of their efforts. We're not waiting until they're perfect to validate them. We're just wanting to validate what they've brought to the table that particular day. One thing that I find quite interesting is many people, especially when guests leave the meeting, they are terrified to ask them to join. So that puzzles me, because I firmly believe that a Toastmasters membership is a transformational experience. I know how much I've learned and how much I've grown since I've been a Toastmaster. And I've witnessed it so often with other people who you just see growing in confidence. And as a result, they get a promotion at work, they become a leader in their community or in their family. I know it works, you know it works. So if that is the case, if that is your conviction, why would you hesitate to ask someone to join? Usually, if someone comes to attend your meeting, either virtually or in person, they've heard about what we offer. They are almost self-qualifying themselves when they show up. So they've come to you, they've come to check out what we do, and they've come to have an experience. They are just waiting for you to say, would you like to join? It's not a hard sell. You're not forcing anybody. You're just saying, would you like to join? And I think if you're not offering that to each and every guest, then I think you're doing them a disservice. I know when I joined, I knew I wanted to join, but where I needed some encouragement was to put my name up for speaking for the very first time. I hesitated, I was shy. And it was only when someone sitting in front of me said, Aletta, when are you going to start speaking? Put your name down. So sometimes people need that invitation to take the next step, to take them to the next step that'll unlock learning and growing for them. But if we are going to be almost selfish and not ask them to join, they must wonder what it's all about. So be generous. Ask them to join, because you and I know it's a transformational experience. I want that for them. Why would I withhold that from them? And it doesn't just have to be the XCOM that invites people to join. Any member sitting next to that person, say, why don't you join? We have a great time. I've learned so much. And share with them what transformation you've experienced. Your success story, your why you are a Toastmaster is so powerful. I challenge each of you to record, or perhaps your VPPR can record a short 30-second video of every member who says, this is why I joined, this is what I've got out of it, this is why I'm staying. And use those on your social media profile for your club. Use that on your club website. People buy your success stories more than they buy what we do. They're not joining because they're 14 pods or even more now. They're joining because they want the confidence that comes with working their way through those paths. They want what comes with being more professional when they speak. Your success story could inspire them to join. So I challenge you to get your club organized and just do short videos with everybody and use them to demonstrate how you have benefited so that guests can see that as well. After the meeting, you need to make yourself available to answer questions, to follow up, to find out what's next for that person, especially for members. Sometimes members get busy, sometimes people get stressed, and they step away from taking on roles at meetings and doing presentations. It's important that you touch base with them and just say, how's it going? I noticed you haven't spoken for a while. What would it take for you to speak again? What could you do? Or could you help us with this role? So invite them to be part of what you're doing and invite them and encourage them. Don't let them feel that nobody has noticed that they're not there. It's much more gratifying to know that someone misses hearing you speak than knowing that nobody cares whether you did or not. And again, it's every member's duty. It's not just your exco. Do your bit to be generous, to be caring, to see what your member needs to feel relevant and to feel valued. It's so important. If you had to leave nothing on the table and you were planning your next meeting, what would your personal contribution be? What would it look like before the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting? This morning, as I was thinking about this presentation, for some reason, an arbitrary story from my childhood came up. I was about 3 or 4 years old. I was one of 4 children, and bath time had come and gone. I was in my pajamas, and I think my mother was busy bathing my younger brother. And I went to her and I said, "Mom, I'm just going to go and buy some bread." And I had a little basket under my arm, and she said, "Yes, yes, yes," obviously thinking that I was just going to go and play. But I didn't. I left the house, I left the property, and I walked, I'm not sure exactly how far it was. Let's say it was about 1 kilometer. And it was getting dark already, and there I was in my pajamas, and I walked all the way to my grandmother's house. And I think, what was it that was so compelling for me at that age to do something so unusual? I'd probably never walked there alone before at all. So for me, when I think back on it, it was obviously that I loved my grandmother and my grandfather dearly. When I went to them, there was always a very, very warm welcome. I was always made to feel valued. The food was amazing. And as a young child, that made a big impression. But what I'm trying to illustrate with this story is, as a club, we need to deliver that peak experience to the extent that it makes people get out of their comfort zones and come and seek what you are offering. And for me, that is it's not rocket science, and it's not just the path and the assignments and everything that we offer and what we do. It's that sense of caring. It's that sense of community. It's that sense of challenge, that if I embrace what you offer, I could be better off as a result. So your and my challenge is to create ways to make our offerings so compelling that people would leave home, that they would trade their time and money for extraordinary customer service. And to the extent that you and I, at every meeting, irrespective of whether you've got a title and a role in your club or not, deliver a peak experience that's unforgettable. That's how you build clubs. That's how you build areas, divisions, and districts. And that's how you leave a legacy. We both know that Africa is in desperate need of better leaders and better speakers and people who can operate with integrity and caring and all those wonderful values that we have. We need that. Our continent needs that. Your community needs it. Your business needs it. Your family needs it. And our job is to translate that into a meaningful offering for every guest and every member, every meeting. It sounds easy, and in many ways it is. I don't think it's complicated. I don't think it takes a lot of tremendous effort, but it's important to do a series of little things well on a consistent basis to be the club that people want to be part of. So if your club isn't offering a peak experience, I challenge you to find out why. And remember, it's not what you think is a peak experience, it's what your guests and members think. So do a moments of truth with them. Be brave enough to accept that sometimes someone or a way of doing things gets in the way. But if you know what that is, then you can address it and change it. Often it's little small changes that change the nature of a club. You've got to make your club a member magnet. And you do that by offering extraordinary value, a peak experience, the caring, the community, the challenge. That is what we're all looking for. We want your club to be a beacon that others just can't resist going towards because there's so much value at the end. I'm going to invite you now, if you've got questions, to put them in the chat feature, and we can see if I can help address some of these while we've still got time.
Good afternoon, Aletta.
Good afternoon.
My name is June. I'll be your chat master, and some questions are coming in through my chat as well.
Yay.
We have one question from Hilda. Hilda is from Uganda. Her question is, some members join Toastmasters for fun. How do you encourage them to participate in presenting speeches and playing the various roles?
Okay. I love it when people join for fun. And if they've joined for fun, it probably means your club delivers fun. I often say that when I go to Toastmasters, sometimes I've had a busy day and I don't always feel like it. But inevitably, after the meeting, I'm so glad I joined because I've laughed so much. I've had so much fun. But I think you've just got to say to them, the more you get involved with Toastmasters, the more fun you're going to have. You can get a limited amount of fun watching everybody else do it. But inevitably, the biggest return comes when you participate and you become part of making that fun. For some people, it means starting slowly, get them to participate in table topics, make sure it's a positive experience, and then get them a mentor so that they can have a positive experience with their first presentation, and make sure they keep on having positive experiences. That doesn't mean you don't give them detailed feedback, but you give them feedback in a way that they can learn, take it on, and in a way that they can come back for more. Never, ever give someone such a harsh evaluation that they don't want to speak again. That is a crime in my book. But invite them to be part of the fun, but start slowly and just keep reeling them in, keep inviting them to do a little bit more.
Thank you for that, Aletta. The next question is from Faith. She's asking, how do you deal with burnout and ensure you continually motivate to deliver the peak Toastmaster experience?
Faith, thank you so much. That is such an important question. Nobody benefits. Everybody loses if you have burnout. It is, to me, one of the saddest things that people get so enthusiastic for all the right reasons, but then they neglect to look after themselves or their relationships or their business or whatever it is. Remember that Toastmasters is a part of your life. It is not your entire life. And it's important every now and again to step away, whether it's for 2 hours or 2 days or just the weekend. Let your team know that you're taking a break, and take that break. And whatever it means for you to relax. For me, it's going for a walk in a beautiful area, or going, maybe watching a movie, which takes me completely away from any stresses and strains. I personally, if I'm stressed, I walk or run. My husband is not a Toastmaster. And sometimes when I've had a stressful Toastmasters day, he looks at me and he says, "Are you having fun?" And I say, "No." And he said, "But you joined to have fun. So if you're not having fun, change something, because else what's the point?" So look after yourself, because if your tank is empty, you've got nothing more to give other people around you. So you've got to find ways to look after yourself and inspire yourself. And if that means taking some time off, do it. But let your team know so that they can cover for you. It's essential that you've got something to give, and it's essential that you look after yourself. Don't burn your relationships, don't burn your job, don't lose because you're a Toastmaster. It's something that's supposed to enrich your life, not ruin your life. So take good care of yourself.
Thank you, Aletta. That is very helpful to most of us, and not just Faith who asked the question. The next question is, and it deals with something a bit different from what you've spoken about, is how do you deal with attrition when members are leaving the club for unknown reasons?
For unknown reasons?
Yes, for unknown reasons.
Okay. Thank you. You know, the problem is that people won't always tell you the real reason, because we don't want to be offending anyone or criticizing anyone. So often they'll say, "Oh, I haven't got time," or "I need a break," or whatever it is. But that's not the real reason. The moments of truth is one way, a very good way to find out what people really think. I would shine a light on it and have a meeting at the club, do your moments of truth, and if necessary, contact people individually, but make sure the person asking the questions is someone that they trust and someone that they would open up to. Sometimes clubs have one person who is a difficult personality, and they're there for all the right reasons and they're doing their best, but sometimes that turns people off. But only when you identify that can you change it. But if you pretend it hasn't happened, you've got no leverage to change the situation. So I invite you to shine a light on the problem and hear from everybody. Listen to them carefully before you put your own judgments into the mix. Hear from them what would it take to bring them back? What did they like? What would they like to see improve? And what put them off? And then have that conversation and then come back with your team and say, what can we do about this? It can be disheartening when people leave, but unless you address the root cause, it's going to continue happening. So rather focus attention on it, shine a light on it, and work with your area division director, somebody in your district to help you resolve the issue. Don't leave it.
Thank you, Aletta. Angela is asking, in the role of mentorship, how do you create a peak experience in clubs as a mentor?
I think you've got to do a couple of things. As a mentor, you are number one, and I'm not doing this in order of importance, you are a cheerleader. You are there to validate their efforts. You are there to guide them. So you are there to celebrate them and help them recognize their progress. You are also there to guide them, to show them a right way of doing things without being a dictator. You know, just because you're the mentor doesn't mean anyone has to listen to you. It means that you've got to foster a relationship that allows you to give guidance. But ultimately the club is run by the club members. And you as the mentor can make suggestions, but you cannot force anyone to follow your guidance. So make sure that you are guiding them to the right way, especially if you see them doing something that is not right. But your role as a mentor is also to challenge them and to say, you know, I see you doing this, and you know, you can carry on doing that, that's fine. But I think if you do X, Y, and Z, you would elevate that peak experience. I challenge you to do it. And don't always be the one to tell them what to do. You can bring other people in who can demonstrate what you are saying, or who can give another point of view in a different way. So you don't have to be the only person giving input. You can invite other people to support you as you mentor that club. But don't just be a cheerleader. You have to guide and you have to challenge as well. Then you've got the best chance of delivering good value as a mentor.
Thank you, Aletta. I have a question, and it's coming from several people, especially Irene and Gilbert. One, they said, thank you very much for the great talk. And what they're asking is, many members focus on the education track and forget about the leadership track. How can you get them to balance the two?
Okay, very interesting question. Most people join for the communication track because that's all they know that exists. I didn't know there was a leadership track when I joined. My personal experience is that you can get a lot of value out of Toastmasters simply by communicating and doing your speaking assignments. If you want to unlock the true power of Toastmasters, get involved in the leadership side. It goes without saying that you learn to speak better when you do presentations, but if you learn to take on each leadership role from timekeeper to grammarian to Toastmaster of the day, that refines that skill to be able to speak off the cuff, to be able to take charge of a meeting, to be able to guide others to do something in a professional way. There's tremendous value there. And the beauty of it is that value doesn't stay in that room where your Toastmasters meeting happens. That value you take home with you to your home, your community, your career. That is where you unlock the true value of Toastmasters. It's a safe space to try new things, to manage projects. I remember the first time I had to plan a meeting. I'd never done that before. But the more I did it at Toastmasters, the easier it was to do it when I started my own business and planned training for other people. So a part of inviting them to the value of the leadership role is to share with them what you've got out of the leadership roles. Those, hashtag #MyWhy videos on the Toastmasters website, that also encompasses the leadership track. So I invite you also to record videos about what the leadership track has done for you. And in that way, that success story again helps other people take the next step.
Thank you, Aletta. We'll go a little bit back to the mentorship area. You've covered what had been asked, but also I'd like you to let us know what is the importance of the mentorship program.
The mentorship program, the best way I can describe it, I live next door to a very long-standing boys' high school, and they have a motto. It's not a motto. They refer them to themselves as brothers in an endless chain. And to me, I've always believed that my time on this earth has to make a difference. What's the point of us doing everything that we do if it doesn't touch somebody else? Being a mentor means that you take that learning that someone was kind enough to place on you when you first joined and to help you have the success you've had. And your true success as a leader comes when you take that learning and you pass it on to the next person. You want people to follow your footsteps. You want to groom the next club officer, the next club leader, the next area director, and they could come from your club. The next international president could be a part of your club. And it's our duty to nurture the potential that we see in one another so that we can bring them all up to wherever they want to go. But to rob yourself of that experience means you're only getting a fraction of what you signed up for. So if you've never been a mentor, volunteer to be one. Help a new member for their first 3 projects. Help someone take the first step on the leadership track and share with them what you've learned from it. And there's so much joy in being a mentor and seeing someone else grow. And until you've experienced it, you might not understand it. But you've got a gift to give someone else, and only you can give it. And being a mentor is one of the most wonderful ways to share your value with the people close to you in your club.
That's very inspiring. Thank you for that. This is now from prospective members or prospective clubs who are having a hard time to get the 20 people to charter. They don't get enough guests, and the 1 or 2 who do come do not become members. Any tips on that area?
I think it takes a village to grow a club. I would invite you to call on the people in the clubs in your area, if there are any, and ask them to invite people to your meeting. Get experienced Toastmasters around you to come and be part of your meeting. Make sure that your meetings deliver such exceptional value, and get a team of people to help you do that over a series of meetings. It's not a once-off event. You need to take time to do that. You've got to do it again and again and again, and you need a team to help you. So reach out to your district leaders, ask them to help you, and don't give up. What you've got is so amazing, and if you just keep at it with enough enthusiasm and enough help, you will succeed. I see there's a red light, so I'd better stop.
Yes, there's a red light, and he's actually made me see that we have 3 minutes left. Okay. Maybe as you're doing your closing statement, let us know if you have any experience with bilingual clubs, and what has that experience been as you give your closing statement. Thank you very much, Aletta.
Thank you, June. I'm not a member of a bilingual club myself. I have attended some bilingual club meetings, and I think they are wonderful. I think they offer a unique opportunity that very few clubs can. So I think reach out to other bilingual clubs who could probably give you more expert advice than I can, but I do think they have a place, and I think they offer a very, very valuable service. So Toastmasters in East Africa, I send you warm wishes. I know you've got talent. I know you've got a proud legacy of dedicated leaders who are ambitious, who work hard, and who inspire all of us in Region 11, in the Middle East and the rest of Africa and beyond. We have a lot to be proud of. And what you've achieved in a few short years is nothing short of miraculous. From nothing, you've grown into a powerful district. And I'm confident that this time, at the end of this year, and certainly at the end of next year, we are going to be celebrating your success. Each one of you gets to play a part. Each one of you has enormous value to add. So it's been my privilege to spend a little bit of time with you today. Take your motto to heart, leave nothing on the table, and just go for it, and everyone will benefit. Thank you so much.
Aletta,